Sometimes we find ourselves trapped in patterns of familiar struggles, in patterns of trauma, in self-doubt, and in unresolved pain. We find ourselves sinking into depression, loneliness, and sadness, and we don't know what to do at that point in time. Drumming can help you resolve this. Drumming brings in the healing aspect, and it can transform your personal anguish into healing and wisdom. When you heal yourself, you are tied to healing another. We are here once again with Varun Venkit, the djembe percussionist expert, who's going to take us again to another episode, letting us know how the djembe can help us in healing. Varun, good to have you here once again.
Thanks for having me back.
So I read in the Sakal Times, and I think you were in collaboration with them.
Yeah.
About you working extensively with the special needs students. Could you tell us something about that? And primarily, how is it that you bring in the healing aspect where the blind are concerned?
Right. Thanks for asking this amazing question. Drumming works with a whole lot of special needs groups, and we've been fortunate enough to work with quite a few different kinds of populations, right from children on the autism spectrum to children and adults with special needs. And this project that you mentioned was in association with Sakal Times and at the blind school for both boys and girls. The idea was to, continue this exploration of how drumming can be therapeutic, how it can bring them into the present moment more, how they can experience that state of flow or being in the here and now. But it was presented on a platter of, okay, let's study a new percussion instrument, which is the djembe, traditional West African instrument. So we taught them the associated stories, and it was very fascinating because they knew that, okay, in India, the dhol is played, the tabla is played, mridangam is played, so many instruments are played, and there are certain stories associated with that. Similarly, young kids, boys and girls from Africa, from Western Africa, will be studying rhythm. Similarly, in a oral sort of generation to generation lineage, but they'll play a different instrument. This is what the instrument sounds like. This is how it feels. So while teaching them, we use a lot more verbal cues. We used a lot more kinesthetic cues to tell them how much of their hands to use to bring out that particular sound. And amazingly, they were so much
in tune, receptive.
And sometimes a lot more in tune and a lot more receptive than neurotypical or sighted participants. So it's really amazing because they play in traditional Indian orchestras. They play the tabla or the harmonium or the congas, and they sing Indian songs. So to learn West African songs, they even appreciated a lot of similarity in rhythms. They were able to identify, wow, ye to aise sunai deta hai. It's similar to a garba rhythm. It's similar to a dhol tasha rhythm that they have learned and are familiar with. So it was so fulfilling for me. And on the other hand, while they were playing, while they were learning this, we would spend time talking about, okay, what are they feeling at this point? So what are they experiencing on an emotional level, on a behavioral level? So that way, the healing aspect came out very naturally, very organically, so that it wouldn't scare them into saying, oh my God, therapy class, what is therapy? I mean, so in a way to say, okay, we're studying an instrument, and in that we're learning more about ourselves, learning more about each other. We're being more aware of our breath, and all this happened very organically. It was a very fulfilling project, which then we ended with an end of module showcase. And we performed at the Yashoda Center in Baner. It was a beautiful, very, very emotional experience to see all of them standing. Some of them wearing the djembes, like how traditionally you stand up and you wear the djembe like a reverse rucksack, while some were sitting because they were more comfortable, and they were singing West African songs. It was all quite amazing to observe.
West African songs that you introduced to them.
So they picked up the technique well, they picked up the ethnic and cultural information well, and also the execution of it, of course. I mean, that I think many of them were already musicians, so they could pick it up very easily. And
so it's the auditory faculty that is actually so very
exactly
alert.
so the other senses are so much more tuned in than others, I would say, because well, that's how they get around day to day in their day-to-day lives. They write, they have phones, they travel, they use the metro. So it's amazing to see how self-sufficient they are. And yeah, in a way, how society also comes forward, puts its best foot forward to assist and help them whenever needed. So they keep coming now, even more so, but in bits and pieces to our community drum circles, which we do once a month. They keep coming and participating and adding so much rhythm. And to watch them play,
it gives you a sense of fulfillment.
Exactly. For the others to say, wow, nothing's holding them back. So what excuse do we have when we feel, let's say, some obstacle is insurmountable?
Exactly. Yeah. So tell me, when you are drumming, we know, according to our culture, that the palm is associated to every part of your organ. Right. So when you're drumming and when you're playing, does that in any way help?
Oh, for sure. When you study the djembe teachers, more grandmasters in Africa or here might sometimes exaggerate the benefits to sell themselves. But that's okay. I mean, they didn't care, and neither do we actually traditionally. We didn't care so much about empirical proof that it works. We just knew that if you did something, if you did yoga, if you played a drum, then yes, you would feel better. Why? Because, well, now we know that the nerve endings of so many organs are at the tips of our fingers and our toes. And so that's why even when you do physiotherapy, when you press certain parts of your hand, it helps certain different parts of your body.
Yes, absolutely.
So yes, when you play, it definitely helps stimulate those particular energy centers in your body. Yeah. It facilitates blood circulation. It helps stimulate different parts of our brain simultaneously.
Yes.
So there's so much more to this, because we know that, okay, when this part of the brain is stimulated, then it is said to help XYZ.
Yeah.
So drumming is one of those activities that is known to stimulate multiple parts of the brain simultaneously. And that's why listening to music, we know, is amazing, but participating or playing an instrument, playing a drum can be that much more stimulating. Hence, bringing us to this present moment. Why do I keep saying bringing us to this present moment? Because that in itself is the one measurable way to know that, okay, this self-work that I'm doing is helping. Oh, wow.
So that brings in the healing aspect.
Exactly. Anyone who's experienced thinking of nothing or being in this present moment fully will know that it's a very precious and rare occurrence. Something that helps us look deeper into our own potential.
So are you saying that, I've read extensively and they say that drumming brings you to this slower alpha waves?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So when we're normal, awake and functioning, brain waves are of the beta format. So drumming, or actually any activity that brings you to the here and now, helps you access a deeper state of relaxation. So this can happen for athletes when they're running. Okay. It can happen for musicians when they're playing an instrument. It can happen for monks and saints when they're meditating. But flow research has gone to amazing lengths, and it goes further to say that we don't need to be this amazingly accomplished artist or athlete to experience a flow state. Every one of us can do something fully that fully engages us naturally. Yes. So it could even be baking bread. It could even be singing a song. It could even be playing the drum.
So it's a meditative state that you're getting into.
And we can access it sometimes or many times without knowing that we have accessed this relaxed state or this flow state. Of course, the deeper you go into your practice, whatever that practice may be, will help you experience this flow state on a deeper level. Just like you practice one push-up, tomorrow you practice 2 push-ups, you'll get better. That way you build your capacity. Similarly, when you paint, when you move without worry of aesthetics, when you are maybe writing, some people like to write. So any of these art-based interventions that you feel drawn to naturally, that you can indulge in or just participate in and disconnect from the world, that will help you experience this flow state.
So that is why it's always used as therapy.
Yes. And which is why drumming, for me, of course, I'm biased. It's like, I feel that drumming is, and well, it used to
No, but it has been researched that drumming can actually help you relax and de-stress you.
Exactly. And drumming is my thing. So I feel that, yes, that definitely helps you experience this on a deeper level. When you drum alone over a period of time, yes.
Yeah.
But when you drum with a group regularly over a period of time, that experience is like so much deeper.
You just mentioned drumming with a group. So let's go to the corporate world.
Right.
You know that corporate world means a lot of stressors. And in the corporate world, you're working with groups, you're working with teams, you have a variety of individuals with different personalities, sometimes creating a lot of discord and not much harmony within the team.
Right.
How is it that you bring in the djembe here to heal at the corporate?
Right. This is a, again, $1,000,000 question, because so relevant today. The very fact that we can, as I said earlier, experience this here and now feeling is very rare and precious. This is the most unique thing that I can take to a corporate setting, because I feel that the expectations in a corporate setting are quite unrealistic, because we need to be productive, present, motivated, kind, and mindful of each other, and the fact that everyone's fighting a battle and going through something or the other.
Absolutely.
So it's a tough one, and therefore stakes are very high. Gone are the days where it can be a classroom setting where we tell people how they should behave in a team.
I know what you're saying.
Right.
Yes.
So the fact that we can drum together and very naturally, in a fun way, experience what it's like to work as a well-oiled machine, a well-functioning team. This is so powerful, because the very fact that we can sit together and 10 of us, 20 of us, 100 of us, whatever, and drum together shows that we are present, we are listening, we are leading as much as we are following, we are contributing to the group, being present for each other, we are communicating. So all of this happens in a drum circle, and as a facilitator, as a corporate trainer, my job is to bring these examples out based on what I see in the group.
All right. So there's an interactive session.
Oh, completely.
All right.
And the activity will, again, look and feel and sound the same, but what we talk about in the debrief after each activity will change, because in a corporate setting, they want to know that, oh, wow, this team building, this team bonding thing is not something separate of me. It's very much a part of me.
Yes.
Like to be human. I mean, no man is an island. We need people to just be.
Absolutely.
So if we can drum together so cohesively, so wonderfully, what is it that we can extrapolate from this session and apply into our work lives, into our day-to-day lives? That's the question.
So are you saying, like, in a team, as I said, different personalities, two individuals may not be able to communicate with one another because of their own personal agendas? Right. So are you saying that by drumming like this in a group, they start developing a different perspective about the other individual?
So it's like two things. It's very interesting that you bring this up.
Yeah.
The drumming doesn't solve the existing problems you may have with another person, but at least it will help you do two things. One is maybe bring it up more empathetically. And number two, maybe it will change your perspective about the person, because when you're in a session, you can't be anybody else but yourself.
True.
So it helps you look at the person or people you're drumming with in a very new light. You get to see them in this beautiful, childlike, genuine way that maybe can change a preconceived notion that you have about said person, whether it's your boss, someone you work with or work for. It doesn't matter. Hierarchies, again, just broken down because everyone's drumming together.
Yeah.
They're all new.
No power distance.
No, exactly. Yeah. So that helps you humanize the team that you're working with, helps you say, cool. this is what they're going through. Maybe they share something that you had no idea about. Suddenly you're like, oh my God, that makes a lot of sense. So art, music, singing, movement, drumming helps that. It helps add a little bit of playfulness to what otherwise seems like these huge, unshakable mountain-like problems,
So, do you have kind of different modules that you take to the companies?
Yes.
Oh, brilliant.
So each of these modules are objective or goal-based. Some of the popular ones, dare I say popular? Some of the ones we've worked on are, of course, team building. So group cohesiveness. How to look at the various aspects of groups through this very fun, unique perspective and touch back with very pinpointed, relevant learnings that can be applied in our work lives, corporate lives. So that's why my psychology training really helps me, and it makes the session more customized. It's not just
wonderful.
Like I said, like how I mentioned about how sometimes drummers tend to over exaggerate. Oh, drumming will change you, heal you, make it. Sure, but what are the measurable small steps that lead to that? That's a lot more important than these superlative claims, no?
You said this measurable small steps. For sure, because you can't bring a transformation overnight in somebody. It's got to be slow and steady.
Exactly. So group cohesion is one major thing. Team building seems to be a part of this, but there's a lot to look at. So that's usually a secondary goal, a second goal. Then communication, various styles of communication. Because of course, verbal, we may have our training, but non-verbal, how do we communicate just through our eyes, just through our energies? My God.
Oh, yes.
So things like this, how to be more aware of gauging where the other person's at. We're always communicating. You cannot not communicate.
Every second, your body language speaks the loudest.
So much,
You're emitting so much of energy through that.
Exactly.
I understand this completely.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So that then we have, of course, stress reduction, relaxation, self-awareness, to look at that concept of the self vis-a-vis who we are working with, to experience that compassion, empathy, tolerance, especially after the crazy time we've been through as a collective, after COVID. So it's really important to be, I think, mindful and kind, regardless of what we feel, regardless of what our egos are going through at that particular time. So art and fun and color and movement helps us play with these grave problems.
So it's working both on your intra as well as your interpersonal skills.
For sure.
Wonderful, wonderful. So you have spent very many years learning with Mamadi Keita.
Oh yes, the djembe. Yeah, my guru.
And I want to know a little bit about how was he as a teacher?
Right. Mamadi is quite something. So people who don't know him, I have experienced that they have this image that he was a strict, like taskmaster, and and that just told me that okay, they don't actually know the person, because Mamadi is a amazing, very present, tolerant, empathetic human being, because he's my gosh, spent all his life with people, traveling, learning, makes him so curious and honest, and of course he has a larger than life personality, and he can be tough on some people, but some people, meaning only after you've been through a certain, what is that, initiation process ceremony with him.
Yes.
So in that, he also knows how to be with what kind of person. So he's a very wonderful judge of personality. He can gauge who you are, how you learn.
Were you the apple of his eye? How was he with you?
Not for a long time. Not for a long time. But after a while, he definitely let me into the inner circle. And he was very mindful. He's like a father to me. He was very present and mindful at the time that I lost my father in 2017. And he was there. Never stepped on any toes. We're always there from a distance. We're always saying the right things, guiding, being there for me. So he is, of course, he can be strict, but only with certain select few people. Otherwise, he loved life, had this joie de vivre. He loved everything about life. He lived it up. And yeah, he loved food. He loved to sing. He laughed. He had a hearty stomach.
You have such a smile on your face when you talk about it.
Yeah.
I can see that love that you have for him.
For sure. It's quite something.
And you are now a certified trainer.
Yeah.
What I need to understand is, in brief, I mean, people over here also give exams where the tabla is concerned
Right.
and other instruments. Is the system almost similar, or there's something a little different?
Right. Both, I think, similar and different, because you have, like in tabla, you have a certain process that your guru will guide you through and then say, okay, now you're ready. Or for Bharatnatyam dancers, you have the Arangetram. In the West, you have these certifications. Djembe, traditionally, when you learned, it was very similar to India, where the guru told you when you were ready, or when you crossed this, similar concept of one tap, which is 12 years. That is said to be a period of learning. So after 12 years from zero, you become a student.
Oh my
After that, you become a teacher.
That's extensive.
It takes time.
That's
an Indian thing, but with Djembe, your teacher, you placed your entire trust and faith in your teacher. So Mamadi realized, though, that in the West, where you learn, people want to know where they stand. So this certification system is something he was exposed to in other forms of music. So he was the first one to develop this very detailed, progressive curriculum of the Djembe with the Tam Tam Mandeng Djembe Academy, of which, I'm the representative in India. So this process can be very intricate. It's very rigorous. And it takes time. So just like all good things do. So if you really truly want to go deep into a subject area, then this is important. Because Mamadi realized that there were many people who just wanted to get that one photo with him and then say, oh, I am Mamadi's
You have
student.
several with him. In all parts of the world, I think Mexico, Japan.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh gosh. Nowadays, you definitely were the apple of his eye. You definitely were, for him to take you everywhere with him.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I was quite blessed. But that's the thing. Nowadays, it's so easy to take photos with someone and say, oh,
selfie.
Just boom. So it's a little bit sad. But I think Mamadi, he was happy. See, he was happy to have anyone and everyone with him learning from him, whether it was for one class or a lifetime. It's just that he invested energy accordingly. So he would be overtly kind and sweet to all the ones who came and regularly fell at his feet. But with us, he was quite a taskmaster, because he knew what we were capable of.
Yeah, he wanted the best out of you.
Yeah. So he pushed us, my God.
So Varun Venkit, well, thank you so much for once again being with us and giving us a deeper, more fulfilling aspect to how the djembe can heal you. Drumming can open up the soul to a deeper prayer, and it can stimulate the entire physical ecosystem. Drumming is an ancient therapy that uses the rhythm to heal and to bring self-expression.